Hey, I'm Kayla. I'm Fit Mom in the Garage. This also happens to be my laundry room. In today's video, I promised I would show you my ab routine that I used to get my abs back after having 3 babies, plus some of my best tips that don't involve exercise. Once I had our 3rd baby, it just felt like I was never going to just snap back into shape. And I think that's just because when you have 3 kids at that point, you get so busy that having the time for yourself to do a short workout feels impossible. So if that's you right now, I sympathize with you. I know what you're feeling. I know the struggle, but I want to take you through a quick, super easy ab routine that I use one time every week that helped me get my abs back after having the 3 babies. I should also mention that I do have a separation of my abs, and that is completely normal. When you grow a human, your abs are going to separate. All of the exercises that I'm going to do in this video are ones that I feel safe and comfortable doing after pregnancy, even with a separation. And not to mention that all of these movements can be done with or without children present, because on this particular day, my kids just decided that I was the jungle gym. When I first started doing ab exercises or core exercises postpartum, they looked much different than they do today. 3 years postpartum, I can do some of the most advanced versions of these exercises because I've been doing them for 3 years and even before pregnancy. So they look more advanced now. But when I first started, I was dropping to my knees or modifying the exercises so that I could accomplish them without damaging my core, but actually building it up. This routine usually only takes me about 5 or 6 minutes, but because my kids are all over me like a jungle gym, it actually took me about 10 or 12 minutes. Rather than doing traditional sit-ups, which I find just don't really do much for your core other than they kind of burn on the surface, I like to do exercises that are going to get deep into my core and reach the bottom part of my abs, which is the problem area that most of us moms struggle with. Up here is fine, but it's down below where we get the mom pooch that is the place that we want to work. And I just find that crunches and sit-ups do not get that accomplished. So I like doing exercises that get to the deep core, and this one in particular, these prone shoulder taps, are so good for that. You just have to keep in mind that when you're doing these, you really need to suck your belly button in and not let everything kind of hang out, if that makes sense. You're holding your gut, you're holding your core tight as you do these movements. I'm at the point now where I can do this exercise hovering my knees above the floor, and that makes it very challenging. But I started this exercise with my knees on the floor. I just laid the baby on the ground and I did it over the baby. And eventually, as I progressed and I got better, then I started hovering my knees above the floor for this exercise. For lying leg raises, I do find lying leg raises challenging not to have that kind of dome effect happen when I lower my legs. So if that's happening and I'm not able to control it anymore, my core is just too tired, too taxed, I will not lower my legs all the way down to the floor. I'll still keep them straight or maybe have a little bit of bend in them, but I'll only go as far as I can to maintain good position and not let my stomach do that dome. I also like doing a variation of this hanging, which will also improve your grip strength and your hanging ability. So I will take this one over to my rack and do either tuck knee raises or straight leg raises. If I'm feeling really spicy, I will add weight to something like this, although my kid decided just to do that for me on that day, so I added him as weight. Both of these exercises, whether done on the ground or in a hanging position are so good for getting that lower ab core area, the one that is the mom pooch that we all want to get rid of. These are my two favorite movements when it comes to targeting that specific area. Another variation of this, it's similar but still a little bit different, is the lying leg raise with hip lift. And I will do this one now on a bench so that I get extra range of motion at the bottom. And then I'm going to raise my legs and my hips into the air at the end of this movement. And doing it on a bench allows me to grab my hands onto something so that I can really lift my hips at the end of the movement. However, when I was freshly postpartum, the hip lift just didn't happen. So instead, I would lay down with my legs up and reach for my toes. I still do them to this day, and on this particular day, my kid also decided that it needed to be a weighted movement. So there we are. And lastly, a movement that is just fun to do, but is so effective at building that lower core, the mom pooch area, are these med ball tuck-ins or pike-ups. Tuck-ins are gonna be easier to perform than a pike-up will be. Either way, they're still gonna be a really challenging exercise and work phenomenally for your abs. All you need is something you can put your feet on and roll. So I have used med balls for this. I have used foam rollers. I've even used the seat on my rower, and I put my feet on the seat, my hands on the floor, and I perform this exercise, just moving my knees in and out or my hips up and down. As a bonus, this exercise also doubles for shoulder stability. So if you are wanting a handstand, this is going to help with handstand positioning. Plus it's just fun and it looks really cool. So here's the best part, is I don't typically do all of these exercises in 1 week. I will typically perform at least 2 of them. I combine them with my shoulder day, and that's it. The reason I can get away with doing ab exercises 1 day a week is because I lift heavy every other day of the week. It's almost impossible to pick up a weight and not stabilize with your core. If you're not, you're gonna get injured. So for that reason, I highly recommend lifting weights 3, 4, 5, 6 days a week, which is why my Fit Mom routine comes in so handy. I don't have to think about what to do. I just figure out what day I'm on, whether it's shoulders and abs or chest and triceps, and I follow the plan. It is laid out in a way that I can get everything done in about 30 or 45 minutes, and I only have to use my dumbbells. I'll make sure that that routine is linked below because it is so helpful, especially as a mom of 3 boys trying to get homeschool done, do all the laundry, change the diapers, all the things. It doesn't take much, and actually your abs are tiny little muscles. So they really don't need too much training. What they do need, however, is fuel. And that's what I'm gonna show you next, because I think this is the most important piece and the most skipped piece when it comes to building abs. I don't think it's a secret by now in 2025 that abs are made in the kitchen. And if that is new to you, abs are made in the kitchen, right? You can do all the exercises that you want, you can run all the miles, do all the cardio, but if you're not fueling yourself properly, you're never gonna see definition in your muscles, and that's what we're trying to do, is see definition in our abs. And this is a really controversial topic. I know a lot of people say that genetically they just will never see abs. And while that may be partially true, wouldn't you like to know? If it were me, I would. So here are my best practices when it comes to fueling your body for abs. 1, you gotta be in a calorie deficit. If you are not eating less calories than your body needs on a daily basis, you will not lose weight or body fat. You will maintain weight or you will gain weight. You must be in a calorie deficit. Ask ChatGPT to help you out with that. You'll give it your age, your weight, your height, and it will give you a number of calories to eat in any given day. But that's only the first part. After you get that calorie number, you must eat enough protein in order to fuel your muscles for growth. You can also ask ChatGPT to do that for you by just saying, hey, how much protein does my body need every day to build lean muscle? And it will give you a number, usually somewhere around your ideal body weight in grams of protein per day. For example, I am about 135 pounds. I eat about 130 to 140 grams of protein per day. The rest, which is carbs and fats, should be broken down so that you're utilizing carbs for energy and you're utilizing your fats to maintain healthy hormone balances. Again, ChatGPT will do all of this for you. Just ask it. It's really so simple, but I understand the struggle that most people have, because once you get those numbers, now what do you eat? I have created some simple meal plans that work for me and my numbers, so they may not work for you and your numbers, but at least it's a great place to start and get some ideas. So I'll make sure that my meal plans are linked below. You get 4 meal plans and you can mix and match all of the recipes. So it's a nice way to get started and give you some ideas. I should also mention that my meal plans are not health food meal plans. They include mac and cheese because I'm a mom of 3 boys, and things like French toast and chili and cornbread. I'm not crazy when it comes to my food. I like to eat normal things. I've just found ways to increase the protein of recipes and still make them delicious. Like I said, it's linked below if you want to grab it. My fascination with fitness came as a teenage girl. It's not that I wanted to be skinny or have abs or anything like that. Actually, what happened was I was a competitive cheerleader and I wanted to be strong enough to do all the things required of me on a high-level competitive cheerleading team. And at a very young age, probably 15 years old, I realized that there was a clear difference between the higher level girls and the lower level younger girls. And I just thought, why do they look so strong? What's different? What am I not doing that they are? And so I just asked one of them, who's probably 4 years older than me, and I said, what do you do to have so much muscle? How are you so strong? What are you doing? And she said, oh, it's so simple. I'm like, well, what is it? Tell me, please. I want to do it. She said, I just eat a lot of protein. So I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean, Cassie? You eat a lot of protein. I just focus on eating a lot of protein every single day. So I eat meat and I have whey protein powder and I have yogurt and cheese and all the things that have protein in them. And I make sure I eat a lot of it. Okay, that's all I have to do, eat protein? And literally I was the kid that got made fun of all the time because I would come to school with an ice chest. I would go to cheer camp with an ice chest, and I would have meals prepped with chicken and rice, and then I'd have bento boxes with like turkey and deli meats. I was the weird kid that always got made fun of, but I didn't care because Cassie said it worked, and she was proof that it worked. She and the girls on her team had a physique that I admired, and I wanted to look like that, and it worked. Eating more protein actually worked. So thank you, Cassie. I think you started my whole entire fitness career. But it does all boil down to multiple things. Eating more protein will help because it will keep you fuller for longer and it will help you build more lean muscle. Because you're fuller for longer, you'll have less cravings. You're going to get stronger and you're going to be able to lift more weight. And if you're in a calorie deficit, you should be losing fat. So once all those things are put together, you have a beautiful package of abs. Or at least a nice, lean and toned physique. I really hope that some of this was helpful. I know, again, I said it's a controversial topic, but I've been doing this since I was 15. I am 36, so that is 21 years. And I've not only been doing it with me, but I've been doing it with many other people. And it usually boils down to these things: exercise and diet. Go figure. If you missed my last video, I will also link that down below. I showed my chest and tricep routine, plus how I make our homeschool days more stress-free. If you found this video helpful, will you please give it a like? Next week, I'm gonna take you through my back and bicep routine, plus the parenting hack that I am using to not yell at my kids anymore. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that one. See you next week. Bye.